Hello everyone, this is Rachel Kirkland here, the Modern Shaman. Thank you for being with me for another YouTube question of the week. If you're new to our channel, I always just invite you to go to my website. It's themodernshaman.net, and there's a lot of different venues and ways for you to get connected to people that are into this type of thing. Whether it be my Facebook Lives and connecting with me there on Facebook, or whether it's the touring schedule. I have a big touring schedule that's coming up this year. So I may be in a town near you, or at least you may know someone to send my way and say, hey, I saw this chick on YouTube. And I love connecting with you guys in person. I think it's so neat to have a sense of connection on the social media and then finally meet those people in life and just be able to give tangible, real-time hugs and conversations. So my tour schedule is online there. I'm coming to Chicago in March. I'm going to be in Hawaii in May. I'm going to be in Japan in June and July, and then Raleigh, North Carolina in August. And I think that there may be one later in the year. But so far, that is my touring schedule this year. And then I finally launched, y'all have been hearing about it forever, my online teaching platform. It is available online now. So go and check it out if you haven't already. If you love learning just like this, each module is broken down into video format instruction that's very detailed and kind of what to do. Depends on the module as how they're structured, but there's always a video, there's always a handout with practicum and activities of how to practice it and how to make it more real to you. So it's an awesome resource for those of you guys that are really wanting to develop your non-physical communication and connections and just strengthen a sense of integration in your spiritual life, in your waking world. So go check that out also, that's online. And then of course I do sessions full-time. This is what I do for a living. So if you're interested in even one-on-one sessions on the phone, Skype, or in person here in my San Antonio office, you are welcome to sign up for them there. I have an online calendar and you can just find a date that works for you and sign up for it that way. All right, there's all my spiel at the beginning. Let's get to the question. So this one was sent in a while back. Sometimes it takes me a while to get to your questions. Oh, I should mention, sorry, I know I said the spiel was over, but I just remembered, if you want to send in your question, if you have a question for me and you would like me to answer it here, they're always anonymous, so I don't read who sends it in, but you're welcome to send these questions in. And you can do that on the website. Like, go to the website. There is a contact page at the very end where you can fill in your information, just put in there that this is a YouTube question, and then it'll get put in the queue. My assistant has a little folder and they get put in there, and then I pick one every time. Okay, so here is the question, back to it. It says, hi Rachel, I am so glad that I have you in my life. Can you answer this question on your YouTube channel? Yes, I can. Today's the day. It says, can a past loved one be your spirit guide? I've always wondered this. Thank you so much for all that you do. You have changed my life. Love and light. Thank you for saying that. It's an honor. I have the best job in the world. I truly feel that way. I'm sure a lot of people feel that way, but I love getting to do what I do. It's just like sharing my heart for a living. How wonderful is that? I love it. Okay, so spirit guides. Yeah, let's talk about, I don't even know that I have a video directly about spirit guides, and it's always like a hot topic. There is a module in the teaching platform about spirit guides and going through practice activities and getting to know each one of them. But I will answer your question, and so maybe the title for this video will just be about spirit guides, and we'll talk 3 important things about them. So the first thing that I want to mention about your question, more so as an overall topic or point, is that it's important not to minimalize or try to find someone to prove what you already know to be true in your heart. Meaning, if you feel like you have a past loved one that acts and serves as a spirit guide to you, then I would trust that over what I say, over what somebody else says, over what any class will tell you. And I think that's really important in our spiritual journey, is that we learn to validate our own truths and our own paranormal and metaphysical experiences. Because when we seek that external validation, and of course I'm going to give it to you, but when we seek it, sometimes it can cause a sense of confusion or dissonance in our soul when we truly believe that we have a spirit guide that was a past loved one, and they show up to us every night and they speak to us every day, and anytime we need guidance, they're the one that shows up. And then we ask outside guidance and someone says, no, that's not how it works. They can't be. Your spirit guides are like this. And it can totally trip you up in your sense of personal connection and make you doubt your conversations, make you doubt those internal heart interactions with non-physical. So first, I would say to pay attention to your own sense of heart and intuition there, and always validate those experiences, because sometimes there is no norm that I would say across the board, everyone has experiences like this when it comes to spirit guides. Sure, there are themes that we can pull from experiences. There are case studies and qualitative evidence that we can look at that says we're seeing these general themes that tend to show up, and so we can hypothesize that this is the way that typical archetypes of guides show up, and these are the types of experiences most people have with spirit guides. Now, if those don't look anything like your experience, that doesn't mean your experience is wrong. It doesn't mean that your experience is invalid. So please take that to heart. And I will say that first and foremost, because that is so pivotal in terms of trusting and developing your own internal gifts, intimate connections with the non-physical, and truly standing in the confidence of who you are connected to and how you communicate. So always validate from within first and foremost. All right, so the second thing I'll say about spirit guides goes into this more qualitative or case study or these archetypes that we typically see. Now, these archetypes of guides are typically known and held as are typically known as your inner guides. These are the close, really tightly knit guidance that every person has. And I often get this question when I tour and do workshops and things. People will say, does everyone have spirit guides? Kind of the same question of like, does everyone have a guardian angel? Yes, 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 yes. Everyone has non-physical help. We are not alone by any way, shape, or form. Now, the ways that those personify is completely varied and very individualized based on you and what you need. And in my experience, and I know I differ from a lot of people in my field, but in my experience, the way that I see the energy of your guides is these inner band of guides almost act like fractal aspects of your own energy. When we incarnate into form, this human carbon-based form is a very dense energy and mineral material, and it can only hold so much light before it literally transfigures and we burst and burn out of our skin. So in terms of just like the photons and like what we're made of in terms of light. So a lot of times we do not bring our entire energy, our entire soul, our entire spirit, our entire entity into form, 100%. A lot of it is retained in the non-physical realms. Now, because that space is held in a no-time space, meaning it's not here, it's not linear in our time sequencing understanding, it is accessible to us at any way, shape, or form. So it's as if our dead self, or as if our full self, our energy self, is always accessible in the non-physical realms. And those aspects of ourselves typically will personify with very defiant or defined characteristics. And these are what are typically called the archetypes of our spirit guides, which form a lot of times as a protector guide or as a teacher or philosopher type of guide, or a physical kind of like healer guide, or a chemist guide, or somebody taking care of the body, or an elder. They tend to have these types of archetypes that they fulfill. Now, it doesn't mean that they look that way and show themselves that way for everyone. Again, these are generalities, and we tend to find them show up in different ways, just like our persona will come out in different ways. The same with the joy guide, or a spirit guide that is a youthful guide. It shows up a lot of times to bring joy and bring mirth and kind of has a playful energy. They typically take these exemplified characteristics of archetypes, and these are the way that I see them. When I see them in my clairvoyance, they are your energy retained in the non-physical realm, personified in aspects that are relevant for you in that moment, that are most needed. So they pull in and they speak to you as if another entity, but it is essentially so close to you. In fact, they are aspects of your own energy that's been retained on the other side. That's just how I see it and how I experience it. Now, there are also, I guess the third point, what is known as the outer band of guides, or these larger characters that aren't necessarily fractal aspects of you, that don't really retain your own energetic compounds and your own energetic signature. But they come to you via law of attraction by just lessons that you're working on, maybe like your divine purpose or a planetary alignment. If you've had a lot of lifetimes or done work with certain star systems, you may have certain galactic entities, certain ascended masters, certain saints, certain angels, certain ancestors and past loved ones, those that really step in and guide you and take a firsthand interaction with you. I have clients that literally talk to certain archangels day in and day out. That is their connector point, and they would consider them a guide. And so, not to split hairs about, well, that's not your typical inner band versus your outer band. That's who they connect with and feel the resonance with in terms of how to help make decisions in their life, how to have an integrated high vibrational interaction, and what truly feels like their divine sense of guidance, or Jesus, or Buddha, divine goddesses and gods of old. So whoever you feel very drawn to energetically via law of attraction, you're calling in that energy to be a guidance in your life. And this is a very real and profound interaction for a lot of people. And they may form a sense of personal guide for you. So these are kind of my 3 ways to answer your question. One of which is when you just say, can a past loved one be a guide? I would say yes. And that goes into my first point of like, make sure that you validate your own personal experiences with the paranormal or the non-physical world from your own internal guidance, what you know to be true for you. If this is your most constant interaction with non-physical that helps guide your life, then they perform that guidance for you and they fulfill that role very strongly in your life, all right? My second point would just be that general overall archetype that I see with a lot of clients and that we teach in this field. And that is that inner band of guides, or those archetypes that fulfill very specific characteristic roles of protector, guardianship, ascended kind of knowledge and elder and the teacher, that kind of joy aspect that brings a sense of mirth and youth and perspective, and the healer, the chemist, the one that's really working through. Those are the typical archetypes that we see guidance come in, but it's not the only way, shape, and form that we interact with our non-physical guidance system. Also, that last point was just to be aware that there are those that are considered the outer band of guides, or those that are known as drawn in via law of attraction based on what our purpose here is in this life, what our historical cocktail of all the past life we have had. And remember, they're not really past lives, right? Because outside of this time, there is no time. We're not living in that linear experience. And so those aspects, those lifetimes, those timelines are fully accessible, fully active in the now space. So all of that via law of attraction will pull in certain galactic energies, certain councils of light, certain angels, certain gods and goddesses of old, certain ancestral lineage, whether it be animals and bear spirits or all sorts of energies that can communicate, that have very relevant connection for you, that are very specific in terms of guidance and are considered that outer band to come in when needed, to help in those particular ways that are a lot of times project-based or purpose-based, or like where you are at that moment in your life, that is the divine guidance that is needed, whether it be more divine feminine aspect, or whether it be something from the elemental kingdom or the fairy kingdom. They come in a very directed way to what you're needing energetically, just like a call. Your energetic frequency of what you need sends out that resonance, and those that are drawn to have that answer, that are vibrating in the resonance of your answer, will show up and help and guide you in that way. So there's my piece on spirit guides. I hope that was helpful to you. I just want to bless you guys on your journey. Make sure you stay tuned, and we'll be back here next week with another video. Blessings.